I'm whispering, but I am. It's been a minute. This last week kind of got away from me. It was incredibly busy. it it happens that way sometimes. Hey, I know we said we were gonna finish Sly before starting any new games. I kind of fibbed. I fibbed. Oopsies. Uh-oh. Did a little lie about that. Um, I was very determined to get through Sly before starting a new game, but, payday happened, and I had a little extra money, and I was like, well, you know, I've been wanting to get, there's a couple of games I've been wanting to get, and so we got them. So we're playing Crow Country today, instead of the game that I said we would be playing. But I'm very excited about this. I don't think it's like a particularly long game, so we'll get back to Sly soon. Assuming I don't start the next game, the next new game after this one. We'll see, because I got Crow Country. There we go. And I also picked up Still Wakes the Deep. And I'm like super excited about that one as well. So we'll see. And I'm like, I'm more or less back to feeling like completely fine, aside from just like, you know, the usual tiredness that comes from like work and stuff. Aside from that, I'm feeling 100%. And I kind of just want to start playing all these dang games we have on the back burner. But not those games. Only some of them, not all of them, obviously. Sorry, Sly 3. But yeah, Crow Country. I've played the demo for it. I played it, I think, yeah, Fruity was there with me when I played the demo, and it was a lot of fun. It's got like the classic like Resident Evil vibe, like, I mean, like RE1 sort of vibe. But like the graphics are really like cute, and it's cool. It's got lots of like neat little puzzles, and I'm excited. I don't think the demo got like particularly far into the game. And this was also like a number of months back that I checked it out, so like I don't remember too much from it. Sorry, I'm trying to open up my water bottle. But I'm excited to see it because I was like genuinely like sad when the demo ended because I was like, but I want to play more. But we can do that now because we have it. So, shall we start a new game? We'll just do survival horror. Thanks. We'll just do the regular difficulty. I'm excited. All the way back to 1990, huh? Damn high!
Love an amusement park.
It's true. We do be loving an amusement park. Thank you for the sub, friend. How are you? 36 dang months. Holy shit. I know! 3 years old. They grow up so fast. Oh, cool. My neighbors are blasting music upstairs. Fucking love that for me. I don't think y'all can hear it, but I can. Fucking I can. But hi! Hello, how are you, pal? I need... increase the sensitivity, I think. Good. I'm glad you can't. It's like it's low enough that it didn't look like my mic was picking it up, but it's also bassy enough that I can feel it. I'm doing pretty fucking good, all things considered. Um, the usual amount of tired that I am. Gross. But like, it's been a pretty good week. What was that? This is a really nice car, but it's covered in trash. Guess the owner doesn't care for it anymore. Um, Excited to be playing a new game. Stoked to just be here. Neighbors like that too. It's horrible. Like, live your life, listen to your music, whatever. But also just be mindful of the fact that bass is bassy. Also, be mindful of the fact that I live under you, and I've brought up that you're kind of loud sometimes. Hey, what happened here? What happened? There's blood on the ground. Like I said, I played the demo for this, and I love EL Crow. I love the like art style. It's just very cute. Allie.
Sup, bitch.
Sup, bitch. Thank you for the sub. Also 46 months. Holy dang. How are you? How are you doing? How's it going? I'm trying to be super like energetic today, but we are a little lower on the energy scale, but like still super stoked. Unprecedented times. But hi, how are we all doing? We have a missing persons report. It's from the Atlanta Police Department, 215 Lakewood Way, Southwest, Atlanta, Georgia, 30315. Name Edward Crow, 57 male, occupation company owner, landowner, health condition, last seen by Mr. Tolman, who's 42 male. Hey, Devo, can you stop? Thanks. Yeah. Can you lay down? Can you stop screaming at me? I would appreciate that. Can you do that? Right, thank you. Things will get better. They have to. That's a threat. Honestly, I'll threaten times with that. Time get better. Gotta get better. Things also get better. No words. I love you though, friend, and I'm sending you all of my good vibes and all of my love, and I am happy to see you here. Words are hard. Words difficult. Hey Devo, if you keep yelling, I'm gonna lock you out of the bed or out of the office. No, you need to stop. Edward Crow was last seen at Crow Country's. Out. Nope. I'm sorry. You too far. Gotta go. Devo has ruined it for the both of you. You like my very much matching outfit of pumpkin pants and striped sweater? Devo sensed my presence and must scream. It is true. He is saying hello to everybody, but especially Allie. He says, "Hey, hey!" No, he gets he gets about as upset as I do when the music upstairs gets loud, and so he just has to let me know that, hey, it sucks. Hey, it sucks. And it's like, yeah, Devo, I know, and you're not helping. He is. It's true. I had forgotten that lore, that he is streaming on his own like level of consciousness, just projecting it out into the world. Someone's tuning in. They know. Does match, and I love. I bought myself a bunch. I say a bunch, a few new clothes not too long ago, like a month or two ago. And they're very comfy, and I love them. And yeah. He is also the Elden Lord. He Fun fact, when I am playing the DLC, I still haven't quite finished it. I'm like very close to the end. No spoilers or anything like that. But when I was like going hard over the DLC, he would like come in and just like it'd be one of the few times that he'd like sit in my lap and not like be an absolute menace. And that was lovely. um Reported missing or reported by Natalie Crow, 27 female, and relation to the missing is daughter. Um Sorting through Gwen's clothes and 100% gonna buy her cute fall shit soon. Yes! Yes, do it! We need to plan a time to get together because I miss y'all. And I was going to message you this last week, and then everything happened. And I did not get a chance to, but I need you to know that I've been thinking about you, and that was my plan, was to reach out, and then I did it bad. Bean fall fits. Yes. She has a cold. Oh no, poor baby. Poor baby. I hope she gets over it soon. But yeah, we definitely need to like plan a time sometime soon because I miss you. Ellie, I miss you. Listen. My throat hurt. Oh, little baby. What's this? It's a med kit. Right. So while it's tank controls, she speaks in sentences now. I think that might be a little bit of a big deal. Just a little bit of a big deal. Can I just keep? No, she says she has enough. Why does she have so much ammo in the back of her car? Mara, I have questions. A single shot should do it. Alright. I shoot. Fence. I have to reload. I have reloaded. Yeah, I was like looking through pictures the other day on my phone. And because I was trying to like my dad and I were talking about the cats and like how old they are. And so I was trying to figure out like how old they are. Devo is 6 and Farley is 7, in case anyone was curious. But like I was scrolling through and I saw pictures of Phoebe when she was little, and I was like, oh fuck, that was 2 years ago. Oh shit. Made that, and now she can effectively tell me, no mama, my balloon. Oh. 27 months now? You only know because your Twitch subbed to me and Glenn are the same age. Whoa! Oh, that kills me. She's so big. Oh my god. I know that that's a thing. That, you know, time is a thing, and it moves no matter what we do. It's a page from a magazine. Oh, right, these are just, like, tips on how to exist in the world. I don't need that. But that leads to the public parking lot. But it's still just, like, I don't know, with children especially, it becomes so glaringly apparent how much time moves. It has somehow been 27 months, and also 5 years. Mood. Oh my god. It's a door. Hello? I have a flashlight. That's cool. God, it is very dark in here. Who left this lying around? It's a laser sight. I don't need to go right now, thankfully. No toilet time. Hey! Just for, just to note, there is There is ammo in the bathroom. Just pointing that out for no particular reason. For no one in particular. A urinal, it seems so convenient. Hold on a second. Adorbs. Adorbs. There was ammo. There's something blocking it. There was ammo in the sink in the bathroom. There's a magazine in the toilet. It's Beyond Magazine, August 1989. Is the pee-pee bullets. Strange sighting at abandoned theme park. Aspiring paranormal photographer Arthur Mole sent in a Polaroid he took while exploring the abandoned amusement park, Crow Country. Could this thing possibly be real, or is it just another hoax? Here at Beyond Magazine, we're not convinced. Try a little harder next time, Arthur. That's just a smudge. Arthur just took a picture of a smudge. Awful smudgy out. There's something in there, but I can't get at it. It's blocked by a pile of old bones. Can I use the ID card? No. Okay. Well, that's in there. I just want to scream. What is this? Okay, cool. Love that. It's a backpack. UFO tour, 1989. Sorry, those crows were eating a thing over there. It's empty. Did somebody lose it? Well, I think we should take it. I don't know that this dress has pockets. TBH, I don't have a bronze key. Yeah, no. Hey, listen, Bones. I'm in charge here. Read it and weep. We say, holding up an ID card that I don't even think is ours. It's a dead animal. I can't make out any of the features. It's a lump. Sure is lumpy out. Okay, that won't open. That's a bottle of antidote. That is an explosive barrel. And that is a big crow boy. It's a big crow. Hello, Mr. Crow. I'm looking for your boss. Do you know where he is? It's a big crow. It's just a big crow. There's nobody I can call. It's a fortune-telling machine. You have 10 credits remaining. Would you like to hear a fortune? That is the hint system? Which, when I was using it during the demo, was not particularly helpful. The bottle containing an antidote. It's a lot of antidote for you. Shotgun shells. Health. Is that... Oh, I have a backup button. Okay. L1 is my pause menu. Saying it out loud so that maybe I remember. I got a banana peel. I don't have any change. Yeah, kick it! Kick it! Nothing. Keep kicking it. Can I go here? It's a large metal gate. It's locked. I need a bronze key. Fine, I admit it. I dropped the bronze key into the fairy pond. It was an accident. Wouldn't be such a problem if we made a spare. Ooh, what's this one? There's something wrong with the ventilator in the fairy pond area. I think something might have crawled into the pipe and died. Don't run the ventilator, and if you do, hold your breath. Seriously. It's a door. It needs a silver key. Can I kick this? No, I can only shoot. Got more shotgun shells, though. Yeah, like I said, I played the demo for this. It was a lot of fun. Hence, a little bit why I'm kind of not skipping, but zooming a tiny bit. But I should probably, like, slow down, you know, in case they've changed things, which is entirely possible. What's this? 2106. I think it's written in blood. I do remember there being one puzzle I had to write something down for? Or maybe I just was writing things down because that's who I am as a person. Is it a code or something? 2, 1, oh my god. 2106. Or 9015S. Oh, scared to grow away. Got another med kit. Love that for us. Is this a real door? It's locked. There's no keyhole. There's a bronze keyhole in the mailbox, though. Shouldn't waste all my bullets on, boxes, but also consider what if I do. Also, I like that those little things look like, those little plastic balls you get out of, like, gachapon machines. You know the ones. It's a wheel. Doesn't turn. There's a strange mechanical swan head. Do I need to put something in its mouth? That one is broken. Can I take the swan head? No, because she doesn't know how to repair it. So the eggs are going missing. I think the kids are stealing them. Luckily, it turns out you can use anything, as long as it's about the right size and shape. It's weird. I'd assumed that the eggs were magnetic or something, but apparently not? So you're telling me I need to find an egg-like thing. If Swan breaks down, just take the egg out of its wheel system. Doing so disables the radio signal and locks the wheel until you can get a mechanic out to fix it. I need an egg-like thing. The Atlanta Globe, May 1986. Crow Country's theme park opening soon. Cancel your weekend plans with the in-laws and grab your sunglasses. A brand new theme park is opening just a few miles southeast of Atlanta. Explore Fairy Tale Land, Haunted Hilltop, and Ocean Kingdom at Crow Country, which promises a day full of fun and adventure for the whole family. Park is owned by one Mr. Edward Crow, a lifelong Atlanta local and landowner. I know how to speak. Yes, that's right, it appears he named the park after himself. Not much is known about Mr. Crow, other than vague, unsubstantiated reports that he is exceptionally wealthy. Nonetheless, we look forward to seeing what Crow Country has to offer when it opens its gates this summer. I want to go to Crow Country. Like, in the abandoned state. I want to go to there. That's a bear trap. And if I remember correctly, you can and will step on those, and it hurt. It hurty. He doesn't look very happy. Is this a door? I can't see a way to open it. It's a giant mushroom. I love giant mushroom man. Is this 2106? No, there's no zeros. Never mind. Ups. You. I think it's broken. Well, that's a little less blobby than the one that we saw earlier. Sir? Ammo. What's that? It's a box of handgun ammo. Are these? Nothing. Giant mushroom, you didn't know this was a FromSoft game. Watch out, he's gonna tackle you. But be really cute while doing so. Hang on, buddy. I'm gonna talk to you in a minute. I gotta sort through the trash first. Found a trash grenade. Hell yeah. Sir, what happened here? Hold on. My camera froze. I love the aggressively floppy mushrooms. They're very good. I thought I had fixed my webcam, but apparently I did not. I did not. We'll just keep that over there so that I can fix that in a moment's notice if need be. What? Who? My name is Mara Forrest. I'm here to help. They attacked me. All I wanted was proof. What's your name? Arthur Mole. Oh, you're the one that took the shit photo. Okay. I just needed a better, clearer photo. Photo of what? Who attacked you, Arthur? Those things. I don't know. Those people. They saw me and... Alright, stay calm. You're bleeding quite badly. Is Crow. Crow, 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 Crow. Hi, Fruity. I should help him. What did you say your name was? Mara. Come on, I think we should take a look at your leg. Yeah, I'll give him a healing item. You want my med kit? Just a little med kit? Thanks. Still feel kind of bad. Come on, let's move you to somewhere safe. You don't look too heavy. Yeah, move, Arthur. Move that boy. Get him out of here. How's it going, Fruity? How are you doing? I moved Arthur to my car. He'll be safe there. For now. Well, can I talk to him? I think I did this last time. One panel looks a little different. Oh! Press it. Crow walking sequence. Nothing happened. I think it's out of power. Crow turntable? It's facing the wrong way. There's a large empty slot in the back. I can't put anything in there, but I have turned Crow around. That's new. Also, there's nothing in there. Horrible and tragic. Oh! Handgun ammo. I want to talk to our new friend, Arthur. There he is. Hold on a second. Hubcaps are solid gold. What a show off. Yeah, but I'm looking at that thing on top of the car, and I think that might just be a cigarette butt. Alright. He rolled his window down. How are you doing? I'm okay. You can be honest. Your leg hurts pretty bad, right? Yeah, it's throbbing. Feels weird. And you have a headache? Feel kind of queasy? How did you know? The thing that hurt you hurt me too. Not the exact same one, but still. Did it? Wait, Mara, what? Do I need to go to the hospital? Mara? Just sit tight, alright? You'll be safe in the car. We can't leave. What are you doing? I have to find Edward Crow. The owner? Mara, the park shut down ages ago. He won't be here. He's here. I have to talk to him. Why? Something I have to tell him. Mara, I got questions. Babe, what's the plan? I love this silly little video game already. It's just so good. Let me in there. Okay, let's, I haven't picked up any keys, so I can't unlock any of the doors that are here. So I guess we go further down this way. Oh, watch out for that. Oh, what's this? Tree Lady 3184. Is that... Wait. Are you Tree Lady? 3184. It's Tree Lady. She turned around. I think I remember you have to talk to her? Some kind of phrase you had to say. I don't remember what it was, though. Open? You already searched it. Okay, well... Medkit. Medkit. God. I'm not allowed to smoke. Why? I mean, you shouldn't. It's bad for you. We'll come back to that. That's a future me problem. Humanoid enemies take more damage by shooting them in the head. I'm not particularly keen on reading all of the tips and tricks and stuff like that. Here at Crow Country, we can't wait to share our optimistic vision of the future with you. Douglas Pike, Park Operations. Yeah, okay, Douglas. It's a med kit. Getting a lot of those. If you're looking for the machine chain, one of the swan boat people took it to fix a broken swan. Told them not to take it, and they took it anyway. Can't reason with swan boat people. Can't reason with swan boat people. I'll, make a note of that on my notepad. Swan boat people cannot be reasoned with. Hey, we got a map. I wonder what kind of wondrous things await us in the future. Edward Crow, park owner. Hey Ed, want some good news? Finally found a good site for our gold mine. It's in Para, northern Brazil. Just like we wanted, there's a disused mine here. Locals gave up on it years ago. It's still in decent shape, so it shouldn't be too much work to get it looking the part. Marv. Kick it. Nothing. Tragic. Can I... Looks like this was done with wire cutters. I think this is how Arthur got in. Seems like he cut himself on the fence. Oh, okay. Can I not go in there? I suppose not. Okay, so what you're telling me is I have to go in the bad hallway. Understood. The scary dark hallway that makes bad noises. Got it. Bad. Ugh, smells so bad, like an infected wound. Feel bad killing it, but I'd feel bad leaving it alive too. Is it dead? Okay, she says it's dead. Just reload real fast. Don't have a ton of ammo left. What's this? There's note taped to the lid. Ship to Marvin Trumbull in Para, Brazil. Contents, samples of geological interest. It's full of rocks. Each one is embedded with pieces of shiny metal. Is this a crate full of gold ore? What is this clicky noise? It's a vent. There's something inside? Hate that. Can I ask why the dig site access is that cute little house? Don't you think there's a chance that some kid would want to go looking in there? At the very least, let's keep it locked via the keyhole in the mailbox. Yeah, we remember that. Fire Marshal was here this morning. She said the following rooms are due for inspection. Crow's Lounge, Model Railway, Utility Corridor, Submarine, Crow's Office, Wednesday, and Crow's Lab. She also said we need to replace the Ocean Kingdom storeroom door. Okay. Hold on. I need to dink my oiter. We must dink our oiter. Give me a thing? Nothing. Okay. It's a notebook. It's Tolman's records for March 21st, 1988. Monday morning, driving to work. Boss calls into my car radio. He doesn't normally do that. Something has obviously gone wrong. True door alarm going off in the second unit. Boss thinks someone is down there. Get to work, check the security cameras. Someone is down there. Standing right by the pool. All security doors down to the pool are locked. Check security records. Doors untouched since 6 p.m. on Friday. Alarm has only just been triggered. Turn on the intercom. Try to communicate. No response. But I can hear the sound he's making. Something is wrong. clothes don't fit him. Something is very wrong. Can you be a little more specific, buddy? Keypad. Is that 2106? No, because there's no 0. Oh, these are all the memos that we found. We're missing 3, 5, 7, 8, 9, and then 12 to 35. Okay. It's a small tank of gasoline. Very normal, very fine. I think the fireplace is how you save, so hold on. All That Glitters, A History of the 1848 Gold Rush. Stephen E. Cook. Collection of video game tips. Remember, to get into the Fairy Pond area, say this out loud to the Great Fairy. Hear me, O Great Fairy of Fairest Forest. Pretty sensitive. Won't work if you have an accent. Sorry, Diego. Oh, Fairest Fairy? What's that? Hear me, O Great Fairy of Fairest Forest. I don't want any fairies hearing me, thank you. Minding your own business. Economics of the mining industry. Joseph J. Carden. What do you mean you can't carry anymore? Carry all of them! It's a letter. State Court, 185 Central Avenue, Southwest, Atlanta, Georgia. Legal summons. Dear Mr. Crow, I'm writing to you in relation to the incident which occurred within your theme park in July of 1988. As you know, a 15-year-old girl by the name of Elaine Marshall was injured. The incident occurred within your premises and within working hours. As such, the Marshall family is holding you personally responsible. Pockets are full. This wouldn't have happened had she took that backpack. Just saying. It's good to know that her dress does have pockets. But they could be bigger pockets. Your presence is required in court. We expect to hear from you immediately. Sincerely, G. Williams, State Court. Fires crackling softly. Staring into the flames, I feel something. It's a curious mixture of hope and dread. Maybe everything will be okay. And maybe it won't. Let's go ahead and save. We've done some things. Ooh, is that an antidote? Okay, well, we'll keep in mind that there's a health kit here. It's good to know. I haven't found any keys, huh? Not a delivery truck, so I can't go through. Wouldn't stop me. Just saying. Jesus fucking shit! Ah! Bugs. It's fine. It's fine. Okay. Oh! Why they move like that? Why is there a thing on the floor there? Okay, you know what? Grenade's kind of good. I have stepped on him. He cannot get up now. Why he head like that? Okay, sorry. Hear me, O Great Fairy of Fairest Forest? Hear me, O Great Fairy of Fairest Forest. Some things stop me. Only a couple of things. Welcome, child! Will you protect our precious natural world? Yeah. She turned around. Just reading about this. Say I will. Follow me. Oh, I think I hit the wrong button. I think that's what happened there. Climb through. Because I'm a goober who just doesn't know how to hit the proper buttons. Don't trust the Fae. I trust this fairy. Me when I lie. Those who seek the truth stare into the pure reflective water of our fairy pond. Never trust the Fae. What is this? Oh, it's a branch. Okay. It's filthy. Well, bad water. It's a curtain. Move that curtain. Pump mechanism. They said it gets stinky, right? I vaguely remember this one. So the guy who fixed the water filter did it by running it through the air ventilation system. If you run the filter pump behind the curtain with the incorrect pressure, too high or too low, it'll trigger the ventilator. Be careful. You can tighten up the pressure using the valve handle. Valve. Control box. Ventilator override. Do not touch. What's this? It's a bottle containing an antidote. Great. It's dark in this corner. What's in here? Before I start touching anything. What's over this way? That just moved. Give me that handgun ammo. Ooh, also, shotgun shells. Okay, maybe I will just touch those. Model of a crow with robot parts? Very last time I went to the theater with Ophelia, we saw an action movie about a cybernetic man from the future. Didn't really get it, but she loved it. She wouldn't stop talking about it. Got to work designing the cyborg crow, since I thought she'd like it. Was gonna propose it to Edward as a new themed area of the park. After I lost Ophelia, I shelved the project. I look closer. I think the eye is made from a laser sight. I got a magnum laser. Great. Nothing's on fire. I don't need the extinguisher. I hear something behind it. Okay, so I'm not allowed to do anything with it, huh? Who took the Ocean Kingdom restaurant trident? That thing is expensive! And without it, we can't do the Happy Birthday Sea Monster song. Hold on a second. Someone said they saw it in the Witchwood? I'd go check, but that place gives me the creeps, honestly. Okay. Ooh, trash can. Rummage through the trash can! Give me a grenade! Love trash can grenades. Okay. Can we... pull lever. I have to turn off the ventilator. Turn it off. Tighten it. Oh, am I still poisoned? I am poisoned. Well, time to start using some of these. Okay, I'm gonna remain poisoned for just a minute. Oh, wait, I see. I'm a goober. We have to wait for it to go over the white section. Okay. Okay. Now let me fix that. It's a reflecting pool. Actually, hold on. I would like to increase the camera speed. That actually take? It did, okay. That's a little better. Oh! Oh, wait! Oh, I see. She's holding a key. Thanks, horrible fairy. I never want to come back here. Thank you. Oh. Was that a bronze key? Can we look at our map? I love that stupid little icon for Mara. I wish it marked which doors had what locks on them. They want us to go... Can I get him to walk on that? Hell yeah, I can! Rad! Okay, set of stairs. Right, that goes to the swans. There were a bunch of doors that needed a bronze key, right? That needs a bronze key. But I think that's where I'm supposed to go. There's another med kit that I can't pick up. I missed a trash can, but it's fine because it had nothing in it. Hello? Okay. Great. Blocked from the other side. Use the bronze key. Open. What's in here? I vaguely remember this. Give me that grenade. Give me those bullets. And then it's a portrait of Edward Crow, the Trailblazer. Tolman, the Mole. Tank of gasoline. What does this do? Can be used as fuel. For what? What can it fuel? Oh. Collection of staff memos. That's what we've already looked at. Great, this is another safe room. Okay. Douglas Pike, the Builder. Natalie Crow, Autumn's Child. Computer systems in both the railway room and the dungeon now need the security disk to access. Yes, I know, it's inconvenient. But these are the new regulations. I'm so dang thirsty right now. I've not drunk enough water today is why. There we go. Access denied. I don't have the computer system. Or the little... whatever the fuck. Hellman's records, March 23rd, 1988. The intruder is contained in the lab. Boss is calling him the guest. Told him that was in poor taste. But it stuck. Offered guest food and water. Took no notice of either. Can't begin to describe what's wrong with him. Boss doesn't want to call an ambulance. He doesn't want to call anyone. I suggested we shut down all route excavation. Just until we work out what's happened. Boss says we can't shut down just yet. So the machines are back on. I have a bad feeling. I think we're about to make things worse. Sounds like you're gonna make things worse. Earl of Edgecombe, 1934. Fine steam engine. Beautifully combining the Arabella and Bernadette's design systems. Press it? Duke of Farnham. Handsome steam engine, stylishly combining the Arabella and Delilah's design systems. Okay. I don't think I figured out what any of that meant. But I remember fucking around with it for a while. Why is it making this bad noise out here? Gift shop can't be opened right now. Bathroom is already open. Is there another door around here? Okay, it must be one of the gates that I have to open. Ah! Man got up. Ucky! Smells so bad. Oh my god. Is that it? Push button? Oh. No. That's loud. I don't want to be in there. That's bad, actually. How hurt am I? Got a little spot on my dress. We're okay. You know what? We'll go ahead and use a healing kit, because there's a few more around here. Is it you? I had red on me. It's gone now. Nope, it's still there. Just kidding. You're right. Embarrassing. Why is he stepping? Where is he? Shit. Did that not hit him? Ow. It's fine, he fell apart. We're okay. Awful. See you? Bronski. Okay. Well, before we go there, I do want to pick up the health kit that was here somewhere. There it is. Excuse me. Again, they want me to go in the little house. Or at least they have, like, explicitly talked about the little house. Are you a silver key? Yeah. Okay, what's here? I think this is where the demo ended. I did some other things prior to coming here, but I think this is where the demo ended. What is this noise? I was just about to say, I am getting uncomfortably low on handgun ammo. Hello? What are you doing? I'm trying to get through this door. Excuse me. Oh, right. Is it locked? Obviously. Is there another way around? It's possible. Right, I'll go have a look. Ma'am, I don't think just hitting it's gonna get you anywhere. Oh, what's this? Please be careful around the Haunted Manor bookcases. Read the book titles carefully. In fact, it'd be easier if you just didn't touch them at all, okay? Read them carefully, you say. It's a tent made of sticks, and the entrance is blocked. What is it? It's a face. He's smiling at me. Take it? Couldn't move. You know, I think he's fine where he is. Do I need a second one? Got a map. Okay. Dungeon, Witchwood, Haunted Manor, Crypt. What's in here? Dungeon. Dungeon has been found. The Deadly Mermaid! Imprisoned for crimes against nature. Oh, I see. The Deceptive Serpent! Imprisoned for crimes against nature. Oh, but there's handgun ammo in there. The Violent Cyclops! Imprisoned for crimes against nature. The Big Bad Wolf, imprisoned for crimes against nature. It's a bloody sheet. Something underneath. Am I gonna regret taking this off? No. I don't have a disc yet. What's this? Atlanta Globe, January 1987. South American gold mine linked to local landowner. Reports have emerged detailing the activities of a recently revived Brazilian gold mine. Apparently, the site, near the north coast of the state of Para, is currently operating as one of the most profitable gold mines in the Americas, selling to at least 2 major international companies. But why, you ask, are we reporting this in the Atlanta Globe? Well, it's recently surfaced that the gold mine in question is actually owned by local landowner and businessman Edward Crow. Most readers probably only know him as the eponymous owner of the Crow Country theme park here in Atlanta. And indeed, it seems there has been some effort to cover up Mr. Crow's connection to this profitable gold mine. While eyebrows are certainly being raised at this revelation, at least we finally discovered the source of Crow's vast wealth. Okay. I think it's some kind of torture device. I don't think I'm gonna hit that button just yet. We had a complaint from a parent about the depiction of alcohol in the mermaid cage. Of all the things to complain about, we told her it's not an alcohol bottle, it's a bottle of highly corrosive acid. That actually seemed to placate her. I cannot shoot it. Understood. Okay, well I can't do anything in here just yet, I don't think. I mean, I can hit the button, but I would like to save before I do that, on the off chance I get chomped. Because it kind of feels like I'm gonna get chomped. Fucking nothing. I know you can get things from that. Oh, hi. Ouch! Ouch! Where? Come on. Did I do it? We did it. Okay, Mara is hurt, though. She's fine now. Which is great. Love it when she's fine. I don't need to reload every single time I shoot, but I'm gonna. If you're doing maintenance in the Haunted Manor or trying to access Ocean Kingdom, you'll need the crank handle. It's locked in the safe in the southeast utility corridor. Code for the safe is something to do with the crypt, I think. Okay. Please be something nice. That's just an apple core. Fair enough. Good job on getting baby room cleaner. Honestly. Tell the family I love them. And I hope mowing goes well. He's hooting and hollering. Bye, Allie! Seems like he hoots 5 times, then stops. Shaped more like a bell. Do I oh, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, yo! Look at me go! Okay, what's in here? The crypt was just there. And that's where I'm supposed to get a code? It's pretty fragile. So many places I never visited. Okay, but what if I shoot it? Alright, well, it's not that fragile. Phone? Hello? You came back. Who is this? Oh, man, I'm glad to see you're up and about. Oh, the tenacity of youth. He's gone. It's an old painting. Harmony will fade by Alcuna Licenza. A little creepy. Inconsequential by Anonymous. History's Deadliest Poisons by O.T. Plagas. Wait. I shouldn't be doing that because it's a waste of bullets, but... Oh! It's a coffin! There's a vampire sleeping inside. He's not real. Obviously. Vampire sat up. Made me jump. Kinda cute, though. Wait, ghost? There's a ghost there. It's looking at me. Hi, ghost. Hi, ghost. His mouth is a deep hole. A Dramalek, the Undying, blamed for many deaths between 1020 and 1115. 10. Okay, I can't do that, but I need to change those times to that time. I understand. Song in a Cage by Lassier Sunar? I don't know how to... There's another ghosty. Play it. Okay, hold on. Fade. F-A-D-E. F-A-D-E. Shotgun shells. Okay, and then... Dead. Dead and Cage? Leave it. Hold on. C-A-G-E. Let's get what's in here. It's a mushroom. I'm a little mushroom boy. I'll use my mushroom magic to grant you a wish. Tell me, what is it that you wish? What's that? You want to improve the range of your flamethrower? Each their own, I guess. Wait, you don't even have a flamethrower. No wish for you. Where do I get a flamethrower from? Weirdly specific, but okay. Clocks need regular winding. Okay, we'll come back. I should go into... I should go into house that they wanted me to go into. Is this the way that I came in? Yes. I'm getting myself confused. It's fine, I'm sure. This way? House? Yes. Hold on. Were there any other doors here that needed... This is open now. This was not open before. I don't think. Give me that. Warning, I shouldn't have to say this, but for your safety and my sanity, please do not eat any of the mushrooms. I'm gonna eat all of the mushrooms. Watch out. I'm gonna eat all of them. It's blocking the way. Move it. I was gonna say, if you don't move that, I'm gonna be... Hi? The Hanging Scroll. By decree of His Royal Highness, the Monarch of Many Mushrooms, the court finds the following to be innocent and harmless. Lusher, Morel, Shiitake. Lusher... Morel... Shiitake... What's this? It's a med kit. I can't take any more of those. Okay, hi? It's the Mushroom King. Obviously. Here's a button on his head. I invited Amanita Rubicens to dinner. Alas, I find myself dining alone. I'm afraid the blusher will be thrown to the pigs. The distinguished Mrs. Morchella. Illustrious Miss Lepiota Brunio Incarnata. The esteemed Lady Amanita Rubicens. The veritable Lord Amanita Bisporgera. I'm saying he's so wrong, I'm so sorry. The renowned Sir Lentinula Idodes. The Honorable Mr. Amanita Falloides. By decree of His Royal Highness, the Monarch of Many Mushrooms, the court finds the following to be deadly and dangerous. Death Cap, Destroying Angels, Deadly Dabberling. Yeah. Ooh. Okay, hold on. Amanita Falloides, which is the one on the top left corner, I think. Death Cap will be thrown to the pig. It changes. I don't feel I have enough information to do anything. Okay, we'll come back to this. Ooh, I should probably check on Arthur. It's been a minute. And I don't have the thing for the crypt just yet. Or for the safe in Crow's office, because I haven't been to the crypt yet, is what I'm trying to say. And doing a piss poor job of. Ooh, hello? Listen, I had no idea what the roots were for. How could I have known? What roots? What are you talking about? There are 7 in total, and I cut them down. Cut them open. You cut them open? What? All but one. We left one intact. For posterity, we thought. What a farce. Is that Mr. Edward? Is Arthur okay? Well, he doesn't look dead. I want to leave. Can't. Sorry. I don't have a silver key yet. Okay. We need to go in house. That's what I was trying to do, and then I got distracted by 10 million other things. As one does. Where is house? Here. Let's use the bronze key. Good thing I'm not any taller. Someone is not happy. Hold on. Buddy, it's okay. I assume he's in hole. There's a valve on top. Turn. Cool. Why is that moving? If you can't find the crank handle, it's because I borrowed it. I used it to hide that big egg-shaped ruby inside the haunted manor. Afterwards, I locked the crank handle in a safe in the southeast utility corridor. Southeast utility corridor? Hold on. Southeast. Not that one, because that's northwest, right? Turn the wheel. Mechanism is incomplete. Missing a handle. Cool. Tolman's Records, June 3rd, 1986. We hired a company to start excavating. Didn't go to plan. Problem 1, they spent too long setting up the site. Problem 2, there was already a paper trail forming. Whole point was to do this quickly and quietly. And then, the deal breaker. Started asking questions about the roots. They wanted to know the full size and shape of the thing they were excavating. They wanted to know what it was made of. They wanted to know how long it had been there. No deal, obviously. Had to go. Tolman, did you kill people? Did you and Edward kill people? Ed, you can't just kill people because they ask questions. Okay, I guess going back into the Haunted Hills or whatever is probably like our best option, right? Excuse me. I should save. It's been a minute. Let's go in here. And save. Okay. And then we can go back to the Haunted Hills section. That's not it. Haunted Hilltop, excuse me. She's still pounding on the door. Still don't have the disc to access the computers. Could go through Hold on. Let's go here. I don't have a flamethrower, so the mushroom boy won't give me my upgrade. The fuck? Oh, you know what? The gasoline's probably fuel for a flamethrower. Pointing a shotgun at me. Is it gonna shoot? Better not touch it. It's a med kit? Estelle... Solomon West... Oh... Their initials are cardinal directions, so SW is going to be southwest, which is this way. This is Estelle, so it's going to be east, which is that way. You're south. Norbert Eastley is already pointing the way that he needs to, right? If any of the kids have trouble disabling the trap, you can offer this advice. When reading gravestones, focus on the names. Birth dates and the death dates aren't any use to you for now. Look at the floor in the center of the room. I did all that. Did I fuck it up? Solomon Wesselby. Southwest. Estelle is east. Norbert Eastley. Oh. There we go. I don't think it's gonna shoot me. Maybe I could use it. Take the shotgun stick. Nope, take it! It broke. I guess it was just a plastic decoration. Tragic. Absolutely tragic. Here lies Ophelia, tragically drowned. Daughter, sister, human. Why do I have the distinct feeling that Ophelia is not human? The drain, it's clearly not working. The whole place will probably be flooded soon. Can't carry a medkit with me. Am I hurt? No, we are fine. Jesus, shit, fuck! It's fine. Wasn't even worried. Bullet. Great. It broke. What's in here? Handgun ammo. Nice. Ugh. Okay, now that's open. Great. Ugh. I left the shotgun in the submarine. Shark, 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 dolphin. At least I think that's the quickest way. I was never that good at math. Shark, 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 dolphin? Collection of video game tips. Hey Ed, what's been going on? Finally set up the address you can use to send me the ore. If you label the contents as samples of geological interest, we can pass it off as an academic research thing. I'll collect the shipments once a week and take them back up into the mine. Hold on to your hat. We're about to become the luckiest gold miners since 1848. Marv. Marv. I realize that's a save spot. Oh no. It's a glossy magazine. Oh, it's an adult magazine. Barf, no thanks. It's a large medkit. Reminder that the piano in the haunted manor is not to be used for casual playing. It's wired up to the walls and the whole system is pretty fragile. If you're not haunted manor staff, leave it alone. Is this a... Wait, am I in the utility closet? Or utility... Where am I? I am off the map. What is this? Oh! Tom B. Stone fears Selena died. Tom B. Stone. Selena died. I think that's gonna be on the books. Selena. Didn't I see that name somewhere else just a minute ago? Okay, hold on. Is there anything else in here that I need? I don't drink coffee. Let's save. And then let's let Lady in? I guess? Hey, ma'am? Assuming this is Lady? Finally. Hey, how did you get inside? I went through the crypt. There was this tombstone puzzle, and a shotgun, and this ticking clock. Hey, I didn't ask for your life story. Oh, sorry. I'm just kidding. You did good, alright? Now, there's work to be done. What kind of work? What you doing? Yeah, I think this is the best spot. The best spot? For what? I assume he uses that elevator, so he'll see it for sure. Are you talking about Edward Crowe? Yeah. Hey, would you help me get out, or help me out with something? Sure. What do you need to do? I need to clear out these tables, and then lay out some documents. Won't take a minute. Okay. That'll do it. Thanks for the help. Takes care of that. Hopefully he'll see it. While I'm here, I'm gonna take a look in the cell. Did you go in? I didn't, no. I see. Probably for the best. Well, catch you later. Stay out of trouble, alright? I should have gone in. It's a newspaper. Incident at local theme park. Parents Luke and Patricia Marshall decided to take their daughter Elaine to a local theme park for her 15th birthday. Crow Country, named for its owner, one Edward Crowe, is a small amusement park found only a few miles southeast of Atlanta. It's fair to say that it's been fairly popular with locals, but never really drew in the big crowds of some of its larger competitors. The Marshall family were walking through the haunted hilltop section of the park when Elaine became separated from her parents. Around half an hour later, Elaine reappeared. She was visibly very upset, and a patch of blood marked the front of her t-shirt. It seems Elaine had wandered into a restricted section of the park and encountered something or someone very dangerous. Yesterday, Atlanta Central Radio got a direct quote from Elaine herself, speaking from her ward at Westview Hospital. There was a man in a cage. For the attention of Edward Crowe. Okay. Patient Elaine Marshall, date of birth 7/5/1973. Injuries: wound across the stomach and chest, not healing due to a bacterial infection. Attempts to identify the nature of the bacteria are still ongoing. Suspected cause of injury: attacked by a wild animal. Unsubstantiated claim by the patient that she was attacked by a person. Treatment: ongoing treatment of bacterial infection. Currently, no improvement shown. Notes: patient also complains of ongoing headaches and queasiness. Further treatment pending. Legal agreement between Marshall family and a third-party financier. Dr. Margaret Fielding, Atlanta Westview Hospital. Are we, Elaine? We got the same eye color. Hair doesn't matter. You can change that. Julie Barron, locally feared lawsuit attorney. 404-555-0129. I just recently learned that any phone number that has 555 as like the main 3 digits, not like the or the zip code, not zip code. area code or anything like that. It's just like a non-existing number. It's just a thing that I learned recently. What's in the cell? Well, here we are. The incident closed down Crow Country. Happened right here. Did you notice? It's been deep cleaned. Of course, that in itself is a form of evidence. I mean, the fact that they had this room cleaned is proof that something happened. Something they want to cover up. Right? No smoke without fire, as they say. No bleach without blood. Oh, that's good. I'm gonna start saying that. It's okay, you don't need to stay. I'm sure you have places to be. Right. You're looking for Edward Crow, aren't you? You know where he is? I want to get into his office. It's in the northeast corner of the park, I think. Northeast? Sounds like you'll need to pass through the Haunted Manor. Alright, thanks, Julie. I'm gonna let the cats back in. Because I think they're crying now that they've been out for too long. Here you go. Don't yell at me. Don't yell at me, Lo. Okay. Well done, Stinky Man. Yeah. It's locked. Be locked with a switch under that floor panel. This one here. Not especially well hidden. Cell door unlocked. Simple as that. Also, large medkit. I unlocked it. Another large medkit. It's a bed. It smells strongly of bleach. Okay. Devo. All done. Tolman's Records, March 24th, 1988. Boss and I have the storeroom converted into a holding cell. Pike isn't happy about it. Says he can't legally hold people here, even if they've committed a crime within the park. Tell him it's not for criminals. Boss brings the guest up here, locks it in the cell. He wants to run some tests. He says it'll be much quicker if he doesn't have to travel down to the lab each time. I think it's a very bad idea to bring the guest up to the surface, especially while the park is still open. Almost immediately, I'm proven right. A girl named Elaine Marshall finds her way into the holding cell and encounters the guest. Jesus Christ, Devo, stop! Oh my goodness. She is injured and taken to the hospital. Boss is forced to close the park. Fear this is not the end, but the beginning. Gronkin out there. Okay. What's in here? Ooh, also. I can't carry anymore. Why are... There's a bunch of rocks in a funnel at the top. I think it's grinding up the golden tubes. Kinda reminds me of a mortar and pestle. Are they, like, getting gold from the roots and then mixing it up in rocks and then sending it to Brazil and taking it out of the... putting it in and then taking out of the mine so it looks like they're not being sketchy as fuck when they're actually being sketchy as fuck? Seems like a lot of work if you ask me. Okay. Can we go down? Fatal error. Nothing happened. It must be broken. Okay. Well, let's go back to the mansion. Because we can find the code. In theory, for... Oh! Jesus! Fuck! Hate that! Hate that! Jesus. Okay. Sorry. How many of those do I have left? Not many. Not many at all. Okay. Swift and sudden end. By bee slain. Deadliest poisons. Pulling of the pin. Gene aid. Wait. Is this not where these are? Okay, whatever. Well, we can go through here. Excuse me. Oh, fuck. Oh, it's just bad here. It's just all bad. Ugh. Okay. Well, I meant to use one of the big ones, but it's fine. Door's stuck. Let's kick it. Where did the big boy go? Excuse me. Hold on a second. Begging your pardon. What the fuck? Smells strongly of bleach. Still a dark stain on the floor. Wonder what they were trying to clean up. It won't open. Give me that. D Pike Park Operations. Legal summonings or legal summons. Final warning, dear Mr. Crow. We sent you a letter 14 days ago and have not heard back. This is a serious matter that demands your immediate attention. You should know that Elaine Marshall's family have appointed a lawyer. Case against you is being prepared as I write this letter. Sincerely, G. Williams, State Court. They're giving me a lot of grenades very suddenly. Maintenance staff, there's a button behind a panel on the back of the wooden crow house. You can use it to access the controls for the big animatronic crow. Yeah, I know. I've done that. It won't open. Crank on the thing. Chain on the thing. Gas in the thing. Where is this? Oop. Power switch for the 4 periphery elevators at St. Coleman's office. Yes, that's the other side of the park. Yes, that means you're in the wrong place. Does this take me to the other side? We don't get squished. We just go to the other side. What the fuck? Oh! Oh! Okay. Well, let's just go back in here for a minute. What? Why did she squawk like she got hurt? Concerned. Coleman's records, March 27, 1988. Alarm triggered at 2:15 a.m. 2 more guests appeared in the pool room. This time I made sure the cameras were running, so we have proof. They came out of the pool. They're worse than the first. Broken, wrong shape, falling apart. I feel heartless describing them so, but I have no other words for them. Boss said we wouldn't be able to move them like we did with the first guest. He spent 23 minutes trying to talk to them. Then he shot them both. Yikes. Handgun bullets. Love that for me. It's empty. We got our map. Are you... Oh, is that the daughter of Crow? Hold on. Crow moved the electric battery charger to the southeast underground level. I know that means you won't have access to it anymore. I think that was the idea. Hey, are you good? Oh, I don't think she's good. You alright? Ma'am? My head. I threw up. Hey, it's alright. Don't worry about it. Can I ask, did something happen to you? It only grazed me. I thought I'd be fine. I don't even know what it is. My head is pounding. My stomach is... right. You were attacked. I feel dizzy. I have something that might make you feel better, at least for a little while. You should take this. Thanks. I think that actually helped. Oh, I'm so rude. What's your name? I'm Mara. Thanks, Mara. I'm Natalie. Natalie Crow. What are you doing here, Mara? I'm actually looking for your father, for Edward Crow. What on earth do you want with father? You filed a missing persons report, didn't you? Yes, I did. You're who they sent? Yeah, I'm Agent Mara Forrest. But you're so... What? What about the man I spoke to on the phone? Detective Harrison? Something? Harrison James. He couldn't make it. Problem with his car. So they sent you instead? Yep. This is your father's office? He's not in there. I've been out here for hours and I haven't heard a sound. Be that as it may, I'd still like to take a look inside. Do you know how to get in? It's gonna be difficult. You'll need the key. It's a big fancy gold one. Gold key. Got it. And you'll have to turn off the electrified door handle. How do I do that? No idea. It wasn't electrified the last time I was here. Father must have only recently had it installed. Why? What's he hiding in there? We'll leave it. Because clearly, that is a bad idea to touch. Okay, what's over here? It's empty. What's up the stairs? Oh, are we in the theater? It's the ferry. She's facing the other way. Thanks for moving the curtain. Ew, what's that? Curtain has already been raised. Can someone from maintenance please varnish the Ocean Kingdom storage room door? Or else just replace the door entirely? It's made from really old wood, and it's starting to crumble. It's not exactly fire safe. Fire, you say? Grenade! Shotgun shells. Hit the button, press it. Let's get off that stage. Another grenade! Okay, that guy's just sitting there. Menacingly. I was making sure I was full up. Oh god, there's so many of them. Hello? First guest emerged from the pool 2 years ago. Been thinking. Must have been on purpose. The timing, I mean. 2 years ago? 1988. Must have been some sort of intersection. A critical pivoting point, if you will. Late enough that we've developed the necessary infrastructure. Early enough that we've... Well, early enough so as not to be too late, I suppose. Notice the Seven Seas Mermaid. Use the same kind of battery as the Giant Crow. Not a great idea. Those kinds of batteries aren't waterproof. So mermaids are gonna need constant maintenance. Shit! Fuck! I can't see. I can't see. I can't see. Press it. I got scared. We are injured. Shit. Okay, it's in the wall. That's fine. Oh god, it's... I don't... Well, it's dead. I suppose that's all there is to say. Let's do a quick tiny break. I need to use the restroom. So... BRB, y'all, I guess. I'm gonna try and catch some more of your streams. Oh shit! Oh no! Oh, I saw her! She got in my face! Maria, I am busy! Hi, kitty. Oh! Here, you have your food, lovely cats. It's a good thing for you. I laugh a lot and also have no idea what I'm saying half the time, so I have to pause and go, Not the uncanny valley. When I see Mrs. Hutchins today, she will ask how I am, like every morning. I will answer, good, thank you. Oh no! That's my rant about Donald Duck. Plus he makes those bad noises. Those bad noises, and we don't like that. I'm never making that sound again. I'm so sorry. Attacking that box now. I guess we're still attacking that box.
Fuck you, box.
We're just gonna...
You're not better than us.
Yeah. Show that box before.
Oh, I'm a gonna.
All the men have gone.
Do the tease on them.
Oh?
I love them.
Stands for double diarrhea.
Yoink, is this you? Thank you. am back. Back again. Somebody kill it? Or did it just die? I had not drunk enough water. And then I drank enough water. Connected to a pipe. Can I turn it? Is this gonna like short circuit her battery? Hello. Jesus Christ. Thank you for helping me before. I'd never have found that bronze key without you. Oh, that's us saying that to her. I don't know why I thought that was her saying that to us. Okay. Not entirely sure what I need to do. So I was hoping I could take this. But just doing this doesn't seem to be doing anything. Really glad I went to the bathroom before we started with this noise. Okay. Oh, wait. Okay, I don't have anything that I can put in there. I understand, though. I need to put... I need to put something in there? I need to destroy the water somehow. Also, sorry, can I get Natalie to go to my car? Can I just collect people in my car? Is that an option that I have? Sorry, we're gonna be running back and forth a whole bunch. Oh, she's not here. Did she go to her car? Oh, wait, I remember what those are. If I shoot them, then, like, it'll, like, stun enemies. Okay, well, I would like to go... Jesus Christ. Sorry, they're just, like, running and stomping and jumping upstairs. And it's like, can you not? At least it's not the middle of the fucking night, but still. Okay. Let's go back to the car to see if Natalie has joined our... Jesus fuck, dude. Excuse me, miss. You really shouldn't be wandering around here. Why not? It's not safe. Would you like me to escort you out? Are you a police officer? Police Detective Harrison James. I was supposed to be here hours ago. Some kid broke into my car this morning. No, punk slashed my tires, too. They look okay to me. No, they slashed my car tires. I had to borrow the bike because I couldn't use my car. Oh, right. Duh. I didn't catch your name. Alright, sorry. I'm Mara. Aha, so that's your car out front. The 85 Fiesta? Yeah, how'd you know? I met your boyfriend. Said he was waiting for you. Oh my god. He's not my... Never mind. It doesn't matter. You're blushing. No, I'm not. Shut up. Actually, Mara, maybe you can help me out. I was supposed to meet up with a woman, Miss Natalie Crow? You haven't seen her around, have you? As far as I know, she's early 20s, blonde hair. Don't talk to cops. No idea. Sorry. No, it's okay. I thought I'd ask just in case. I need to go find Miss Crow, but I'm gonna ask you to go back to your car, okay? Not safe here. You need to go home. Sure, I was just on my way out, more or less. I like that I'm just, like, flailing this gun around in front of him, and he's not bothered by it. Glad to hear it. You be safe now, okay? Whatever. I really didn't think he was gonna show up. But he has... Okay, so Natalie's not at our car. Where did she go then? Arthur, did a police officer come by here? Yeah, he was on a bike. Did you talk to him? Yeah, a little bit. Okay. Okay. I remember getting the silver key in the demo, but I don't remember how I got it or where I got it from. So I don't know. I guess we can go back here. Excuse me. I still need to figure out the date that Selena died? Right? Tom B. Stone. Wait, was that one of the people here? Selena, 1872. Oops. I didn't need to do this. But I did. 1872. One, 872. It's crank handle, which I need for the hole. You still just here? Gotta go through the manor. Right. But I was trying to do other things first. I could use the hint system. Or consider, fuck that, I do what I want. I might if I like end up getting too stuck, but there's plenty of... Why is he here? There's plenty of things that I like can figure out how to do. I just haven't, you know, tried yet. Climb through. What was here? Oh, right. This is where we found Natalie, and this is where where Crow's office is. This was locked, but I can go in now? Oh, shit. Is it a Magnum? Oh, shit, he's dead. Guess he shot himself. Should I call the police? A handgun laying next to him. Better not touch it. Or consider you do. Can't carry any more antidote right now. Following doors are now locked electronically. Dungeon, mermaid, cyclops, wolf, serpent. Cryptophilia. Mermaid, cyclops, wolf. They can only be opened via the dungeon's computer terminal. Okay. Where do I get the thing for that? This is a message for Edward Crow from Douglas Pike. Edward, we've been friends for over 30 years. You entrusted me with with the running of your theme park, a task I have relished. You've always shown me kindness, and I always paid well for my work. However, I can no longer remain silent. Edward Crow, your crimes have not gone unnoticed, nor will your sins go unpunished. As for Elaine Marshall, I hope she never forgives us, for none of us deserve it. Goodbye. That's the end. Read a file? Edward just pulled all the funding for Cosmic Future and we've halted construction. He said it was just a temporary delay, but I can tell when he's lying. Something is seriously wrong with Edward. He looks sick, but at the same time, there's a kind of manic energy in his eyes. I asked Tolman about it, but he gave me the silent treatment. So whatever it is, I think they're in on it together. I tried to spy on Edward and Tolman during their meeting. It sounded like they were trying to talk to someone. A third person in the room who wasn't talking back. But they were talking like how you talk to a baby or a young child, speaking slowly, using simple language. What is going on? Edward had his office door electrified, decently high voltage too. Turned off all the mains power, but the door was still electrified. So I think he must have hooked it up to a generator somewhere in the underground level. It's a model of Crow Country Park. Looks like there are 4 main areas, and a few smaller sections around the outside. Give me the handgun ammo. I feel kind of bad for him. Okay, well... Ow! Not me forgetting that was there. Whatever. You're still dealing with fatal error. Okay. This just goes back up. Where else do I need to go? I'm trying to think of what we need to do. We still need... Wait... Hold on. I'm vaguely remembering how to get a key, and I think I need to go into... Flames of Hell, VL Kano. Kano, even. Why are those the same? It's just a picture. Why do these keep changing? I'll look over the notes left by people again at some point. Can I read this? Yes. And that's the crypt. This is the dungeon, which I don't have the key card for. Like the electronic disc or whatever. Okay, I need to go back to what I thought was Edward's office. Crow's Lounge is where I need to go. Ooh, geez. Not there. Not there. This way. $2106. Still haven't figured out what that's for. Still haven't figured out the mushroom thing. hate it. I hate that. I hate that she's like, is there something inside? Yeah, probably, and I don't want it. Probably a bad thing that will try to kill me. I still need to get the egg. Do not eat any of the mushrooms. Yeah, we've done that. We took the Ocean Kingdom restaurant trident. Thing is expensive. Can't do the happy birthday sea monster song. Someone said they saw it in the Witchwood. Can't find the crank handle. It's because I borrowed it. Used to hide that big egg-shaped ruby inside the Haunted Manor. Afterwards, I locked the crank handle in a safe on the southeast utility corridor. Southeast utility corridor. Okay. Wait, I have that. So where was the crank? Well, not the crank. Where do I use the crank? Inside the Haunted Manor. What can I use can I use the crank on the globe? Hang on a second. Also, $1988? No. Is it Natalie's birthday? Excuse me. Feel like maybe I'm just wrong about that. I don't know. But I have the crank, so I can go into the... I don't have access to the Witchwood. I don't think. I think that's separate from... Bad baby. We'll just leave. We'll just leave the bad baby alone. Bad babies are not our problem anymore. Unless I can use the crank to get into the Witchwood. Am I just a fool? Am I just a silly little guy? I'm a silly little guy. Okay, well, progress. Mari, you can do this faster. I know you can. Thank you. Excuse me? Okay, she's fine. Ocean Kingdom. This is not the Witchwood. But there was a lot of mention of, like, the Ocean Kingdom and us needing to be here, so... Not too mad about it. It won't budge. Can't think of any way to open it. Kick it. Neptune's Palace. Sorry, we're closed. It's locked from the other side. Nemo's Adventure is accessed by a 15-foot vertical ladder. Do not attempt to use the ladder if someone is already on it. Nemo's Adventure is not suitable for young children, pregnant women, the elderly, or those with back problems or heart conditions. There's something cool on the sub, if I remember right. Can't carry any more antidote. Okay, I'm gonna go on to the sub. after I look at all the things. I noticed the acid bottle in the mermaid cage is pretty much empty. You could refill it from the acid tank, but I heard Crow moved it down to the underground level. And no, I don't know what he's using it for. I didn't ask. Can I get something, please? Never. Never get anything. Give me those. 7 Seas. Why is it stinky? Shows the Ocean Kingdom. Okay. Let me do that. Get this. Shoot that. Get that. Can we get someone to hook up the sprinklers in the theater to the main water supply? Currently it's just hooked up to the water tank, but it's not airtight, so it'll eventually dry out. Does not work. Okay. It's not budging. Okay, so let's go on the sub. Reload. Climb down. Rules of the sea: octopus +2, shark +6, jellyfish and dolphin 5 and 3, pufferfish multiplied by 2, turtle reset to 0. Oh, is this the shark, dolphin? That's 24. 21? Is that what we're trying to shoot for? Yes. Yes. Yes, it is. It says 21 on the top. Give me that med kit. Never mind. Don't give me that med kit. Give me that handgun ammo, though. And how's things? I got your shipment systems all up and running. And the important part, I climbed up the major buyer for the gold. I had to put on a bit of a show when they visited the site, but I think I got away with it. I had a thought about the rocks you were using for the ore. Do you think anyone ever over on my end would be able to tell it's not Brazilian? Like, they'd know it was from Georgia? Maybe I'm overthinking it. Marv. Let's do a save. It's not displaying anything. Okay. I don't think it's working. Nothing. One. 2. Shit. One, 2, 3, 4. I can't see the dolphin. Give a bunch of nautical trinkets in here and a shotgun. Looks like a real one. Fuck yeah. I already took the shotgun. Some information about the dolphins. Bottlenose dolphins weigh an average of 660 pounds. They can reach a length of 4 meters or 13 feet. They can live for more than 40 years. And finally, they can jump at a height of 20 feet up in the air. Can I get facts about all the aminals? No. Cool. Glad I wasted those bullets. Well, hey. We got a shotgun now. So that's pretty rad. That's not as rad, though. Okay. That's pretty dope. But we got a shotgun now, and that's incredibly exciting. I'm excited about it. Oh god, it's dark. There's no power. There's a health kit though, but I can't carry anymore. You want that ammo though? Nothing on fire. Could be. I can make there be. Silver keyhole. Don't have that. No power. Out of order. Who the fuck are you? Oh my god. Hi, Sylvia. How are you doing? Can you not point that light at my face? Got a wicked headache as is. Who are you? Never seen you before. Mara. Agent Mara Forrest. No shit, that's like a girl version of my name. What's your name? Mark? Marv? Of course. Marvin Trumbull? Why are you here? Are you an employee? No, but I do work with Ed. We're, business partners. Edward Crow? Yeah. You know where he is? I was about to ask you the same question. Ah, shit. He's gone and done it, hasn't he? Done what? Hey, so... how old are you? I'm doing good! Happy it's the weekend. Very, very happy that it is the weekend and I don't have to work. But doing pretty alright. How about yourself? How are you? Right? Listen, we all get very excited for the weekend, but there are some times where it's even more relief than usual, you know? Take a little puff break from Elden Ring. Are you doing base game or is it sorry, my camera froze. Or are you doing DLC stuff? I'm excited for you though. Love me some Elden Ring. Old enough. Nice gun, by the way. What is that, a Browning? A Colt? Yeah, sure. This is your very first try you started recently? Struggling, but learning. It's definitely, there is like, I don't want to say there's like too much of a learning curve to it, but there is definitely, it takes a while to get into the flow of it. But once you do, it's fun. It's also really nice because there are so many different play styles, so like, I feel like most people, if you don't mind like the struggle of bosses, which is, you know, like the big thing about Soulsborne games, like there's lots of different ways to play it, and so you'll find something that you like. I'm excited for you though. I love Elden Ring. Remember what kind of work you do with Crow? Work overseas normally. Just came back for a little visit. Only Crow's gone and disappeared. Great timing. Pretty sure he's around here somewhere. See, I wanted to use the northwest elevator, but Tolman's prowling around back there. Tolman? Yeah, you know, Ed's root excavation guy? Root? What? Maybe I'll try the southwest elevator. That could work. Glad that you pulled it out. It's not fully filled out, unfortunately. But I think, like, the big ones are, like, it's very Resident Evil-esque, so there is some minor body horror, some, like, pixelated gore, there is violence, there's gun violence, and I think that there has been, mentions of, well, we've found a man who had killed himself, but other than that, thus far it's been pretty okay. But I think those are like the big ones to be mindful of. I knew this was at least a little creepy if you were playing it. Fair enough. It's like, I don't know, I've been really enjoying it. There's been like a lot of puzzles involved. And like there's been combat, but it's been minimal. it does play like a classic Resident Evil game, and I love that. And I find that, like, I don't know, I find the, like, graphics, and, like, the art style to be incredibly endearing. And I know that can help with some of the more intense, like, body horror themes and stuff like that for some folks. But, yeah. I, plan on filling out... What does Resident Evil like mean? Very, like, environmental and inventory based puzzles. You find objects, use them on other things, progress that way. It's got tank controls, so when you press forward, you know, you move forward, but then right and left kind of just turn you one way or the other. And when you, I don't know if like this is a staple of it, but it's a thing that like comes to mind when I think of Resident Evil, at least like the original games, is that when you go to like shoot, you don't walk around, you get stuck in place and then you have to aim that way. Yeah, I don't know. I'd recommend it. Resident Evil is fun. Like of all the horror things out there, it's definitely more tame, and it's zombies, so like, you know, but they're fun. They're very, at least for me, they're just like incredibly nostalgic. Let me just punch my mic, or not my mic, my monitor while I like reach out to move a thing. But yeah. Maybe I'll try the Southwest elevator. That could work. Wait, the elevators are broken? Wait, the elevators are broken, aren't they? That depends. On what? Yeah, I think I'd better get going. See you around, Mary. That's, you know what? That's fair. That is also incredibly fair. At some point I do want to, like, go through all of the Resident Evil games again. Kind of like what Fruity and I were doing with the Silent Hill games. I'd like to play, like, not all of them, because, listen, 5 and 6 are rough. But I want to play, like, a lot of them. 'Cause I like them. They're fine. Birdie. We'll skip 5 and 6. But I do want to play, like, some of the side ones, like, what is it, like, Revelations or whatever, because I've never played it. I know that I've heard that they're, like, goofy AF. But, yeah. You would love that so you can experience Resident Evil? Okay, alright, listen! We'll, bump that up on the list of things to do. There are so many games that I want to play recently, so... what is that? I don't understand what I'm looking at. Okay, it's fine, I'm sure. Give me this. I'm sure that this is also a fine situation that definitely won't backfire and cause us problems. Alright, let's, pick up that phone. Oh! I know where we are. Right. Forever increasing the backlog. Worst part is, I never really wanted the gold. I didn't really care. It was my father who wanted it. He made the decision to buy the land. Years later when he died, he left all of Crow Country in my care. Wait, is this Natalie? I had no choice but to come back. Finish what he'd started. Wait, the theme park originally belonged to your father? No, Crow Country is the name of the land. This land. Oh. Okay, so it is still probably the guy. Crow. Ooh, bullets that I, like, basically just walked past. Rummage through the trash. Banana peel. I've been getting shit RNG with those fucking lockers, and... Hey, here's something breathing in there. Open the gate? Why have I done this? Why did I do that? I have made a choice, and it was a bad choice. Sign dropped down. Let the record show that I solved my problem with violence. There's a silver keyhole. Okay, lounge. Is this... Oh, it's the cop. Okay. I care just a little less. Fucking kidding me? Hey Ed, what's up? The mine has an inspection coming up. National level. Scary shit. Someone told me they check the actual minerals in the ore. Like, they check it's a match for the local area? Then someone else told me they don't ever do that. But they will with me, because they definitely suspect something. So I had a crate of rocks and soil delivered. Let me know when it gets to you. I got the contents for free, obviously, but it costs an absolute freaking fortune to send something so heavy. But if it means we can fool the inspection guys... Marv. Give me the shotgun shells. Root excavation areas need to stay locked when you're not using them. If you need to access them, the switch that unlocks all the gates is in the break room. That's in the northwest underground area. Cop? Well, well, look who it is. Mara, you told me you were on your way out. I got lost. Uh-huh. Not stupid, you know. Did you find Natalie? No, not yet. I thought she might be in here, but... What are you reading? It's an old book about gold mining. It's actually really... looks boring. Mara, is there something I can help you with? So, how are you feeling? What do you mean? You're not injured? You haven't been attacked by anything? So you saw them too. Those creatures. Did they attack you? No, I ran. Fast as I could. I'm also a fan of, like, I really love the aesthetic of this game, like, as a whole. It's just so good. I thought I was going crazy. Mara, what are they? What's going on here? Do you know something? Harrison, if you're really not injured, you should probably leave. Get out of here while you still can. It's like the dark side of Vaporwave. Yes! Here for it. Can't do that. Still need to find Natalie. She might be in danger. Bro. So you're still looking for Natalie. Where have you looked? Basically nowhere. Everywhere I go, doors are locked, paths are blocked. Always seems like I need some kind of weird key. Bro, all of it should, like, not all of it, but a lot of it should be unlocked. I can get around. Therefore, it's infuriating. Yeah, it's kind of this place. Get the hang of it after a while. Okay. 1848? Is that the... Hold on. Is that the code here? No. Okay. Let's see. Who took the Ocean Restaurant Kingdom? Trident. It's in the Witchwood. Egg-shaped ruby inside the Haunted Manor. Can't find the crank handle because I borrowed it. Egg-shaped ruby inside the Haunted Manor. Where is... I need to try... the, what was it? The globe again. See if I can put a crank on that. Is this the wrong way? No, this is the correct way. Okay. I also really like the music in this game. It's like really simple, but fun. Alright, there's goop monsters there. We ignore them. Run past them. Don't even worry about them. And we go into the manor. So sorry. Spin it? What if I just keep spinning it? Will it break eventually? No. Wait! Okay, what were the times? 10, 20, 11, 15. 10:20. $11:15. Egg-shaped gem. Egg-shaped ruby. Let's fucking go. Okay, now we can go get the chain from the swan place. Oh shit. Oopsies. Okay. Exciting. Where was Swan Place? Oh god. There's too many goopuses on the ground. Not in the bathroom. Must be the next one. Okay. No. I've gone the wrong way. Fuck. It's just stairs. Which are over this way. Okay. Nope, I know where we're going. Kind of. To an extent. Oh! 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 What are you? Oh god! Okay. Use gemstone in the goose. I've only gone and done it. Let's get that gritty chain off your neck. Oh! Oh my god. I got chain. I think that's everything. I think that's everything that we need for Hole. How do I get to Hole? Oh, okay. I get to Hole here. I thought that maybe if I didn't move, he wasn't gonna do anything. Because he just kind of stood there for a while. What is that? What that? What that? What that? Okay. That was not lovely. No. Leave it. Add gasoline. Let's get rid of that. There's a wheel. And I am missing... How do I add the chain? It's a bucket. It's full of rocks. Examine it. No. Mechanism is incomplete. How do I add to the mechanism? Shotgun laser. Can't find the crank handle. It's because I borrowed it. Yeah. We got that one. Excuse me. I don't think that's helpful. Wonder what's inside. It's water, I think. Oh wait, what's this? Wait, no, that's how we got in. Okay. What do we do? Mara, please! Okay. Oh! You explode. Things that are circled there are still things that I have to do there, I assume. Dig site, dungeon, theater, arcade. I don't have... Sorry, thinking. I don't have the disc that I need for the dungeon. And I don't remember how to do... I don't remember how to turn on the power for the arcade? This is the wrong way. It's fine. No, this is fine. We can go in here. I want to get back to a safe room so I can read. Jesus. Shit. So I can read notes again. Mara, how hurt are you? Do we have to be a big baby about everything? Sorry, that's not fair of me. You're doing great, Mara. You're doing great, sweaty. Okay, where are... There they are. Okay. Already did the ventilator. Got the bronze key. Got the machine chain. You know, you can't reason with swan boat people. Still need to do the mushrooms. I'm gonna write these down just so I know. Mushroom. I have a general idea of what I'm doing. Already gotten into the little house. Did that because that's how we got the key. Excuse me. We still need to get to the Witchwood. I don't know where that is. We did that. We did that. Already did that. Computer systems in both the railway room and the dungeon now need the security disk to access. I need a security disk. But where do I get that? Please be careful around the Haunted Manor bookcases. Read the book titles carefully. In fact, it'd be easier if you didn't touch them at all. Bookcases. Don't touch? If you're doing maintenance on the Haunted Manor or trying to access Ocean Kingdom, you'll need the crank handle. We already got the crank handle. Had a complaint from a parent about the depiction of alcohol. We know that there's corrosive acid in the mermaid's room, but I don't know how to get that, so we need to do something in the dungeon at some point. No, that's part of the security disc. We'll add that there. Tolman's office. Is that the dead man? Power switch for periphery elevators. We've done the piano. I got the shotgun. We did the clocks. It's button behind a panel on the back of the Wooden Crow's house. Know about that. We need We need a battery from the ferry to put into the Crow. Crow moved the electric battery charger to the southeast underground level. Bowling doors are now locked electronically. Edward had his office door electrified. Okay. Someone from maintenance, please varnish the Ocean Kingdom storage room. Ocean Kingdom storage room door is falling apart. It's not exactly fire safe. I need a flamethrower. Probably. Notice the Seven Seas mermaids use the same kind of battery as the giant crow. I need the mermaids. Mermaids for crow. Okay, so maybe it's not the ferry. Why did I think it was the ferry then? We hook up the sprinklers to the main water supply. Do I just keep running the water until it goes away? The root excavation areas need to stay locked when you're not using them. If you need access to them, the switch that unlocks all the gates is in the break room. Northwest underground area. Northwest underground. Root areas. Okay. We did the trap. Okay. Okay. That was probably not the most exciting thing to be watching me do, but you know, sometimes you gotta. Okay, we need to go to... I mean, we're in the Northwest, right? So where is the underground area? It's here, right? Well, this isn't it. Yeah, I don't need that. I'm going to go through here. Okay. Fucking hate that. Jesus Christ. Come here. Why does that not fall on him? Why does it only fall on me? That seems incorrect. Fuck. It exploded. Are you done? He's done. Jesus. Also. Okay, there's a horrible groaning, and it's actually coming from the video game and not the people upstairs. Okay, that's the lounge. Well, they are stomping upstairs, so. How do we turn all this on? Where the fuck do I get a silver key? I'm gonna use a crow. We're doing it. Yes. And it's gonna be super useless. A woeful mask fell into a deep round hole. That's not helpful. I assume it's talking about the hole that makes the bad noises. Some of the kids were complaining that their high scores weren't being saved. I guess the machines reset their scores every time we turn them off. I don't know if that's supposed to happen, but I'm not gonna fix it. Gives the kids a reason to keep coming back. Wait, but how do I turn the power on? It's a newspaper. Crow Countries announced a sudden closure. While its popularity has been on something of a downturn recently, there were no public signs of an impending closure for the local theme park, Crow Country. However, many angry guests were forcefully turned away as they showed up to the park yesterday only to find the gates closed. Speculation is rife that this sudden decision has something to do with the Elaine Marshall incident reported in this newspaper 2 weeks ago. Edward Crow, owner, issued the statement. It's nothing to do with the Marshall incident, we're just closing for refurbishments. But that doesn't line up with the fact that people had tickets booked for a visit to the park this week. What's going on, Mr. Crow? Yeah, what's going on? I think the power is off. You are correct. Okay, well... this has been unhelpful. Ouch. Wait. Fumes are flowing up. It smells awful. I don't want to go anywhere near it. Okay. The door. Not there. Locked from the other side. Ouch. Was it the storage room? Hold on. Yeah, Ocean Kingdom storage door. I mean, it probably wants me to have a flamethrower. Ugh, but it was worth a try. Okay, well this is unhelpful. Let's go back to the theater and see if I can just, like, run the water out. I thought I had stood there for quite a while, as it was. But maybe I didn't do it for long enough. Barred from the other side. Ow. Silver key. Where do I get the silver key? Ah! Theater? Probably need to go do the mushroom thing, but I don't know what they want. I mean, I could look up the Latin names. I don't wanna... You know... Let's just let that go for a while, I guess. How long could it possibly want me to do this for? I mean, this can't be right, right? It's full of water. I meant to go over here. Oh my god. I need the acid! That's what I need here. Okay. Understood. Okay, so I need acid for fairy. Now this game and I are speaking the same language. But to get that, did I miss something in the train room? Because again, I know things have changed since the demo, and that's okay. That's fine. But I feel like I got the disc from the train room. Where am I? could also go into the mushroom. But I don't understand what he's saying. Because he keeps changing it. Do I just need to know Lusher, Morel, and Shiitake, like their Latin names? Wait, no, I understand what he's saying. He gives you the Latin name, and then he gives you what it is. So, Amanita Phaliotes is Deathcap. I don't know why that took me so long to get. This one is Destroying Angel. I mean, like, any of the Ammonites, or Ammonita, are bad, right? Is Deadly Dapperling. Just don't eat that. Okay, so he's only telling me the bad ones. Mrs. Morchella. Eat. That's a bad one. That's gonna be the deadly whatever. This one is fine. Rubicens. That's bad. This one is fine? Hold on, what was it? Yeah, that's fine. Deadly and dangerous, so we don't eat those. But I ate the good ones, right? Have I done it? Or do I have to eat the bad ones so that he has the nice ones with him? I guess let me leave and then I'll come back. Why did we look so bad? Okay, what if I go save and then I eat a bad mushroom? What then? What do then? This way? Yes. Me trying to figure out what the fuck I'm doing. Okay, train room. I wanted to come in here anyway because I feel like I missed something. Can I use my ID? No. What is... No, that doesn't help either. Okay. Designs Odyssey, our grandest steam engine, elegantly combining all 4 design styles. During the war, it was used by the military to carry artillery. Arabella and Bernadette. Arabella is yellow. Bernadette is orange. Arabella, Delilah. Delilah is blue. What the fuck is green? I am so very confused. It's fine, I'm sure. Nothing back there. Right, we called up the guest, it was in poor taste. Wait, I meant to save, so I could eat a bad mushroom. What happens when I eat bad mushroom? Don't wantonly eat random mushrooms. It's a public service announcement from me, your local streamer. Don't do it. I wonder if I can use the antidotes. Like, I imagine it probably is just going to poison me. Ow. I need to stop walking on those little guys. I keep forgetting that they're there. Mushroom, mushroom. Sir, has anything changed? Okay, no. Nothing has changed. Eat. I am poisoned. Oh! We're dead. Okay. So don't eat the mushrooms. Understood. But... I don't know what to do. Go look at the bookcases. Not there. Let's go this way. Hold on. Well, I meant to go back. I thought there was a thing I could interact with, but fuck it, we're here. Dungeon. Not the mansion. Like I said we were gonna go to. Oh shit. Well, I didn't mean to throw that, but hey. I don't have a disc. How do I get a disc? Ugh. Ow. Oh, I'm doing it so bad right now. Okay, yeah, let's go to the mansion so we can look at the books, but don't touch them. Just look. That's the Witchwood! Okay, I need to get in there. How do I get in there? Wait, if there's a mask at the bottom of the hole, she mentioned, like, the thing in front of the Witchwood entrance smiling at her. Okay. Nope, we're piecing it together a bit. Big book. I did the exact same thing I said I wasn't going to do, which was touch it. Volcano. Volcano. Deadliest poisons. Cake? Okay. Well, I didn't mean to do that, but... I didn't realize I had to pull both of them. Or, like, pull it twice. I'm gonna get flamed, huh? These aren't... Done looking at these books. Fair. Do I just have to leave and keep coming back until I get, like, the right ones? Don't do poison, don't do volcano, don't do inconsequential. I mean, that makes sense. A swift and sudden end. That's gonna kill me. That's poisons. I understand a little better. Swift and sudden end. Flames of Hell. These are all bad. These are all bad books. Don't tell Allie I said that. Pulling of the pin? No, wait, that's a grenade. I'm an idiot. Swift and sudden end. Flames of Hell. Pulling of the pin. Is this right? Am I doing this right? Which one am I looking for? I feel like inconsequential is the one that I want. But apparently not. Beginner's Guide to First Aid. Take that. Wait, does grenade give me grenades? Or does it explode me? Are these just like extra goodies then? I'm gonna find out. It gives me grenades. Okay. I'm gonna try one more time just to see if we get anything different. Poison. Flames. Flames? Flames! On the side of my face. All poison. Oops, all poison. Okay. Excuse me. Never knew about the extra items and resetting loot in there. The more you know. I had noticed before that like the titles kept changing, and that there were repeats before, and so like I don't know. I just thought maybe for some reason they'd reset, and they did, and that's nice. I like getting things, especially since I keep hitting the wrong buttons. But welcome in. How are you doing? There are lots of locked doors that I cannot access. I mean, like half of them are death traps, that is. Glad you're doing well. I'm doing pretty okay as well. There is... So the locked door here on the Haunted Hilltop is going to be for the Witchwood, which I need the mask for. Where was it in the staff hallway? that paper that showed what I needed for the crane. I thought it just said that I needed gasoline, a crank. God damn it. And, yeah, a chain, a crank, and some gas. I have all of that. How do I put the chain on the machine, then? Well, you know, we just got a bunch of these. I say a bunch. We got 2 of them. Is this Tillman's? Whose office is this? Pike's office. Where is... I guess it's not going to be marked because we haven't found it yet, huh? But we're looking for Tillman? Tolman. Which... I don't remember. Oh, I've tried. Oh boy, have I tried, and she just kept winding it up. I can go poke around at it some more, because at this point I'm starting to run out of things that I can do. Without getting what I need from the Witchwood. The Trident? Trident's in the Witchwood, right? It's all good. But it's like I've done the crank. We put like what I assume is water into the hole. And we have put gasoline into the flamethrower. Where am I? Where am I trying to go? Dig site. Right. Brain. Catch up. Excuse me, buddy. Still not entirely sure about the mushroom situation. Okay. So yeah, we did the crane, or we did the crank. And we filled that with gas. And then I only have the option to turn the wheel, and then she tells me that the mechanism isn't complete. Fuck it, you're not what I want. And I examine the hole. We turn the wheel. It's incomplete. I know. Can I... Nope. Tried doing this to heat up that chain. And that's not done anything. Can I look at it from here? Nope, that's still just hole in the ground. That's still just hole in the ground. I know the mechanism isn't... Why is it letting me do it now? Game, please. I've interacted with you so many times. Oh my god, okay. Now we can do the thing. Oh my goodness. I can't tell you how many times I've interacted with that in a row, nonetheless. My goodness. It's fine. We got the thing. Resin melted. Oh, right. I've been wandering around probably for like the last 45 minutes being like, what the heck am I supposed to do? What am I missing? I just needed to click on it even more. Okay, well we've got the mask, so I can... Again, I'm assuming that I need that for the Witchwood. Which is great. Okay. This way. Oh boy. Okay. Hey. Looking directly at it and just thinking, yeah, that's fine. I can step on that. But that does mean we have progressed some. Things are changing. We have made progress. Don't step on the goops. Which wood is this way? I didn't need to look. Use an item. Use that sad, woeful mask. Ooh, I should save. Is there a utility closet here? Utility corridor, excuse me. Just because we have made some progress, I would like to do a save, please, and thank you. Everything's gonna be fine. Or maybe it won't. Is, Julie still here? Oh! Oh! That's not the button I meant to press. Where did she go? Okay. Well, she's not here. Heck. Okay. Right. I don't know. For some reason, I swapped it so that, like, X is shoot and circle is reload. But I still despite the fact that I play with a PlayStation controller pretty regularly and have for many a year now, getting square and circle swapped. Right? Sometimes you just make a little oopsie. Oh my god, that reminds me of Baby Oopsie. There's a symbol. Let's not kick it just yet, actually. Eyeball. Can I? Okay, you know what? No, maybe we do kick it. Oh! I thought the symbol on the top was different. What's this? Medkit. Let's go. I thought she said it was a swirl. Can I shoot these down? I can. Wonderful. I have, like, no bullets. That is a little bit of a problem for me. Hold on. Okay. Do I need to kick you again? Oh, it turned into a star now. Okay, so then I can kick that. No. Okay, that helps me confirm that I wasn't totally crazy and thinking that she said it was a swirl before it turned into an eyeball. There's shotgun ammo there, so let's get that. Kick that again and move the eyeballs. And sometimes it just takes me a minute to get up to speed with what's happening. Okay, and then we kick again. There was a star. Yeah, but there's ammo over there. So I would like to kick this so that the swirl is the one that goes down. So that we can... I need the star. Okay, well that's okay. Because we can come here and then we can do... eyeball, star... reload. Okay, I didn't think I could go that way. There is a thing there. Swirl. Eyeball. Riveting commentary from me, I'm sure. Star. Eyeball. Swirl. Yes, more ammo. This is what I need. and then... What are you? Looks like a witch's cauldron. It's full of murky water, smells really bad. Reach in! It's weirdly warm. Reach in further. Feel something at the bottom. Grab it. Got that trident. Hang on a second. Hate this. Ooh, boy. Ooh, boy. It's just time to go, I think. There's a couple too many guys in there. That is the Witchwood done. Okay. We have the trident. What did I need the trident for? Hold on. I can mark Witchwood off. I needed it for the Ocean Kingdom somewhere. We'll get there and we'll remember. Probably. Assuming my memory wants to, like, function. I haven't streamed for, like, almost 3.5 hours. Probably call it soon-ish. But I'm having fun. I'm liking this game. As goofy as I'm being about... Excuse me? I have been poisoned. Hold on. Let's go into the sub because I want to reread the notes about where I need the trident. So remember I need it for somewhere in here. Trap, already done. High scores. Need to get the power on to make that be a thing. Seven Seas mermaids use the same kind of battery as a giant crow. Not exactly fire safe. Crow battery. That's about the acid. We're doing maintenance in the haunted manor. Okay. That had to do with the crank, not the trident. Eggs. Crank handle. Who took the Ocean Kingdom restaurant trident? The thing is expensive, and without it, we can't do the Happy Birthday Sea Monster song. How do I get into the restaurant? Okay, hold on. Let's walk around and not get stepped on by a bunch of little goofy boys. You're the restaurant. No. Palace? Oh, shit. Look, I don't necessarily want to waste my, Seven Seas. I don't want to waste my ammo on those little guys. That's locked from the other side. But also, they're in the way, and they're very annoying. Give me that antidote. Antidote? Antidote. Now that we've used a couple of those. That's Sunken Treasure, which is the arcade. Can I kick you? Well, if I did... Bro. Oh my god! Embarrassing. Palace is definitely restaurant. It's got a fork and a knife on the outside. Okay. How do I get in there? Staff hallway. Hold up. Is there a door I didn't try there? Okay. Don't step on the bear trap. Did I just, like, full-on miss a dang door. It wouldn't be surprising. That's very on brand for me. I'm incredibly thorough, except for the time that I'm not. Oh my god. Okay, yep. I just missed. Ed? Hello? Natalie, my daughter. She's here, isn't she? Yes, she's looking for you. She filed a missing persons report with the police. Told her not to. Thought I'd convinced her not to. Listen, can you get her out of here? Get her to leave? Now? Mr. Crow, she got hurt. She was attacked. I see. Oh, this looks for you, buddy. It's a statue. Fruit are friends. Good to know. Okay, got a grenade. Oh my god. Open that. I love him. Neptune's Palace. Birthdays. Have parents place gifts inside treasure chest. During the meal, give the trident to the child. Sea monsters will turn towards the trident. When they're facing the trident, they'll sing. As long as the trident isn't too far away. If all four are singing, the chest will open. Child can now take the gifts out of the chest. Note, sea monsters often get stuck and don't rotate properly. Just give them a tap and they should set them off. Tap the glass. Tap the glass. Right about. Hold on. Where? This one sucks, dude. That top left one. This guy. This fucking guy. To management. Can we get the code for the front door changed, please? It's far too easy to guess. Is it the factory default or something? This is a security concern. Is it... Hold on. We'll figure that out. Oh, you can turn them more? Also, just as a heads up, this is a backseat free stream. I like to figure things out on my own, hence the struggling. Okay. Oh, wait, was that the silver key? Hell yeah. Okay. Well, I need this to... No, it's all good. It is all good. I appreciate you trying to help. I will explicitly ask if I need assistance. But it's all good. No worries. I appreciate that. I do like to try and, like, figure things out on my own and also, like, go into as many of the games that I play as blind as possible. Because I like to, you know, have it unfold in front of me. But, yeah, no, like I said, all good. Tolman's Records, March 30th, 1988. Boss has begun experiments with the pool. He attaches a key to a long chain and slowly lowers it in. He waits 25 seconds and pulls it back out again. It's changed. Too long in some places, too short in others. It's the wrong shape. Maybe we don't put things in the pool. Consider. Okay, we have a silver key, which means we have access to a lot of new places. However... Fruity, are you still there? What's that funny code? You know the one. 0451. Yeah, there's not a no in here, is there? Shit. Okay. Well, it said factory default, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Excuse me. Sometimes I hit the D-pad a little too fast. Okay, there we go. It's like if it's not 1111 or 9999, 1, 2, 3, 4 feels like a good other option. Alright. Wait, what is this circle? Wait. Not circle. What is this question mark? What did I miss? Aggressive blinking. This? Strawberry slushy. Luscious lime. Pineapple punch. Cup is full. I don't want to drink it. Empty it out. Wait. Strawberry sunshine, luscious lime, pineapple punch, groovy grape. That's the train. Those are the train colors. We had yellow... Wait, hold on. Hold on. I was gonna say, let's call it here. Which we probably still will do, because it's been 3.5 hours, and I need to get up and do a stretch and eat some food. Before I probably just, like, zone out and just play Once Human for the rest of the day. Hey, Fruity, I'm gonna play Once Human in a while. Ooh, jeez. Too many dudes. Too many dudes. I need to, like I said, I need to, like, eat and do all that shit first. Slash, I think there was talks of redoing my undercut because I have too much hair and it's too hot. No. Yes? Yes! Yellow, purple, orange, green. Yellow, purple, orange, green is the combination of all of them, right? Otherwise, it's going to be... Wait, I forgot to check the date on that. Well, that's yellow, orange. 1934. So if we're doing it chronologically, 1927, these ones would be first, which are orange, purple, yellow, orange. Otherwise, yellow, orange, orange, purple. No. Yes. I'm gonna try this real fast. And then, if it doesn't work, regardless of the outcome, we'll try it the once and then call it there. And pick this up probably tomorrow. Should be good to stream tomorrow. As per usual, let everyone know in Discord once I have a general idea of what the fuck my day is. Do plan on doing movie. I don't know what movie, but movie will happen. Okay, so we need... Let's try... Is red orange? Orange, purple, yellow, Orange. Empty it out. Okay. Yellow, orange, purple. Empty it out. I mean, doing yellow, purple. What is this? Hamburgers, french fries, chicken nuggets. Exactly what you would expect. Okay, we will figure this one out next time. Because I think I've also just, like... The puzzles aren't particularly complicated, but... I've also... I've done a lot of hard thinking through the week. And I have been puzzling for, you know, 3.5 hours. So I think it's acceptable that my brain is not doing what it wants to do. Not doing what I want it to do. This has been rad, though. I like this. I didn't think it was gonna be bad or anything, just given that, like, we had, like, you know, I'd done the, I'd played the demo and I'd really liked it. It's still just very good. It's still just very fun. So that's cool. Oh yeah, it's gonna, hold on, let me just, like, exit out of it, because if I tab out, then it's gonna stop playing music, which is what I wanted it for. But I have to look up who we're gonna raid. Because it's that time. Chew is doing some Digimon Survive. And we do be loving Chew here. So let's go say hello to them. If you are going to raid with us, there are our raid messages. First one is for everyone. It's got global emotes. Otherwise, second one has channel emotes. You know, for subs and stuff. I am having a lot of fun with Crow Country. Again, I didn't expect it to be bad or anything, but it's been delightful. Thank you, Salvia, for hanging out. I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you. Thanks, y'all, for hanging out and being here while I do the silly thing. Yeah, like I said, planning on streaming tomorrow. I don't know what time, probably like later in the day. 4-ish or so. Maybe a touch sooner, maybe a touch later. Who fucking knows? But I'll let everyone know in Discord and all that good stuff. But yeah, for now, have a good rest of your day, your time zone, and we'll see y'all next time. Bye, friends.